Welcome back. You are not my employees. I am not your boss, and we're talking about resumes today. This is sort of an obligatory video that I have to do because it seems like a lot of the advice articles that are out there, a lot of the videos that are done, a lot of the people that are trying to tell you what to do, they kind of gloss over this very important step, this very important question. How am I going to write a resume if I don't have any job experience? So, speaking directly to the people that just flat out don't have any job experience whatsoever. Okay, here you are. How do I write a resume when I have absolutely zero work experience? Ready? Here's my advice. Go get some work experience. I told you, hold on, don't stop the video, don't close it, wait. Hold on a second, let me explain. It's super easy to get work experience. Super easy. Super easy. I can think of so many different places that you might not be considering as work experience. That's the problem. You probably already have work experience and you don't even know it. Here's a little piece of advice for you. Your work experience doesn't necessarily mean on the face of it very much to anybody. What is work experience? So let me just tell you as an employer, what work experience tells me is that you're reliable and dependable and that you've had a set schedule before and people have counted on you to be there at a particular time so that you can start your shift. I want to see that you were supervised by somebody. You've been managed before. I would like to talk to the person maybe that has managed you to learn a little bit more about how their experience was managing you, right? Those sorts of things. I don't necessarily need to see that you've done exactly what I'm hiring you to do, right? It's great when I can get that. Sure, as an employer, absolutely. I'll be the first to admit it's great when I can get, if I have somebody that I need to come in and work as a receptionist and she's got 17 years, he's got 10 years, whatever the case, of work experience as a receptionist, great. Connect the dots, slam dunk, right? Wrong. Not necessarily. Not necessarily. You would be surprised. Here's a little known secret about me. I actually have to work with the people I hire. I'm not just some recruiter or HR person that works in a different building, that all I have to do is recruit people and then they show up on their first day to their department, whatever department, and then there's somebody else's problem. I never hear from them ever again. That's not me. I actually have to work with, manage, train, supervise the people that I hire. My pet peeve is when I'm hiring salespeople, when they march into my interview room and strutting their stuff, they've got 15 years of sales experience. I hate that. If that's you, just so you know, as an employer talking to you, real talk that I can't necessarily tell you at the time, throw you out of my interview room because you're in there. I think it's terrible. Do you want to know why I hate hiring salespeople that have 15 years of specific sales experience? Because they take twice as long to train. Why? Because they come to me with horrible bad habits. Bad habits. So in 2008, let me tell you what I'm talking about, just as an example, okay? This is the most recent example, and probably everybody who's watching this is old enough to remember the housing crisis, the economic crisis that we went through in 2008, right? You had real estate agents, and I'm not talking, hold on a second, hold on real quick, before you start attacking me in the comments section, I'm not putting anybody down here, but we do have to have a real conversation. So, it really wasn't the real estate agent's faults or whatever. The bankers really weren't. You know what? Not what I'm talking about. Take that to a political channel. Take that to a historical channel. I'm just talking to you about business. As a manager, as a hiring authority, this is what I feel when I see somebody who has been a real estate agent and stopped being a real estate agent or a banker or a broker or whatever in 2008 because their business went under, their firm went under, or whatever, right? Obviously, they were working in a field, as we now know, that were traditionally giving loans to people that shouldn't have been getting loans. They should have, as the loan officers, they should have known that these people had no chance of being able to pay it back, right? That's basically in a nutshell what was happening with the housing crisis. A lot of people got mortgages for houses that they couldn't afford. There's no way they're going to be able to pay these back, right? That's kind of what I see from a lot of salespeople that come to me with years of experience. They've been taught that they need to hit their quotas. And it doesn't matter what you have to do. You don't have to take into consideration the buyer's income. You don't have to look at whether or not they're going to be able to afford this thing. That's their problem. Paying for this car or house or boat or whatever, that's the buyer's problem. Your job as a salesperson is just to sell it. That is not how I operate. That is not how my company operates. That is not how our salespeople operate. My customers are vetted. They need to be vetted before they become customers. Maybe I don't want to work with them. How many times, what kind of credit record as a client, as a facility that I work with, I'm a business to business, I operate a business to business business. So the people that come to me are established businesses. So I'm not checking personal credit scores or anything like that, but I am going to look up the business and see if they've ever filed bankruptcy before. If they filed bankruptcy before, there's a good chance that I'm not going to get paid. So my salespeople are going to look at that and say, oh, hey, it's a customer. It's a quota. It's my quota. No, if I don't get paid, then they don't really count as a customer, do they? So work experience, I need you to understand, it's not necessarily a good thing. I hate salespeople that have a ton of sales experience, which is good for you, because I love dealing with people that maybe don't have work experience in sales, but say that they really want to learn. I really want to learn. I can train somebody that wants to learn, right? And it's going to take me half the time, probably, because you're a blank slate. You don't have bad habits that I have to train out of you, right? Does that make sense? So getting back to, okay, well, how does that help me? I literally have zero work experience. Zero, nothing, nada. Okay, wait a second. Locally, here around where I live, we have a little league, sports league, right? And we've got soccer, baseball, girls softball, all those different leagues, right? They are constantly looking for volunteers to work in the snack bar. In the snack bar, you're going to be cooking, you're going to be cleaning, you're going to be handling cash, you're going to be working cash registers, you're going to be taking orders, filling orders, there's going to be customer service, maybe somebody got the order wrong, you're going to have to be mitigating that. Typically, these are volunteer positions, right? You're not necessarily getting paid for them. So, put that down on your resume. If your little brother or little sister, or if your daughter, if I'm talking to somebody older here, your daughter or son, if your sibling or offspring, child is in one of those leagues, go volunteer. Or maybe call the league and see if you can volunteer even if you don't know somebody that's in the league. You just want to volunteer. I'm going to count that as cashiering experience. You're going to be able to put down, I was a cashier. Well, I wasn't really a cashier. For example, here's another one. Is your church having a bake sale or any sort of function that involves maybe a silent auction during an event or any sort of event experience? Did you work the event? Oh yeah, I worked in parking. I worked the parking lot. Okay, well, depending on how you word that on your resume, there's customer service experience there. You had to interact with the public, right? Well, yeah, but it's a volunteer experience. Who cares? Who cares? That's experience. You may not be thinking about it. Give you another example. Have you ever gone over to grandma's house and raked the leaves, sweep the sidewalk, mow the lawn? You know what that is? Groundskeeping. Groundskeeping. Well, no, it was just going over and doing chores. No, it wasn't. It's groundskeeping. Don't sell yourself short. You do have work experience. You just may not think about it. All right, maybe some people are looking at that. Maybe fellow employers are like screaming at their screens right now, like shaking their monitor. What is this guy talking about? We already get so many resumes that are unqualified for the positions that we're posting. Why are you telling them to send us more resumes even though they might not be qualified? Okay, fair point. You do have to kind of talking back to not my employees, you as the audience that may not have any work experience, you can't stretch it too far, right? It has to be practical. If you're working the cash register at the snack bar, then you can work the cash register pretty much anywhere. You're trustworthy with cash. That's what that tells me. You're not necessarily going to say, well, I worked as a cashier at the snack bar, so I should work in a bank. Maybe not. Maybe the banker doesn't really want to see your resume. Maybe that's not the first place you should start. So aim realistically. If you aim realistically, you're going to find this advice is solid. If you find that this advice isn't working so much, then frankly, it's probably because you're aiming unrealistically. You're aiming maybe a little too high to start out. But my point still stands. There are volunteer positions everywhere. You just may not be willing to do it or work it. Maybe you're not able to find them. So I would encourage you to check with your city or check with your county at their offices in terms of volunteer positions. Hospitals have volunteer positions, nursing homes, skilled nursing facilities, assisted living facilities, lots of volunteer opportunities there. You're not necessarily going to see those opportunities showing up on a career search on Indeed, for example. If you're going to Indeed.com looking for postings there, they're probably all paid positions that are looking for someone with experience. You're not aiming realistically. If you have literally zero work experience, you need to aim a little more realistically. But the point of this video is it's possible. Don't build a roadblock. Don't cut yourself off. Don't sell yourself short before you've even sat down to write the resume. Well, what the hell am I going to write a resume on? I don't have any work experience. You're not in the right frame of mind yet to write that resume. That's a bad frame of mind to be. So I'm trying to help you understand that as an employer, I'm smart. Not all of us are, but I was you once. I didn't have work experience once. I know what it takes to work a garage sale. I know what it takes to work at a yard sale. I know what it takes to volunteer at a nursing home because I've done it before. I know what some of that stuff involves and what that takes. And frankly, I would count it as work experience even if you wouldn't. So hopefully that helps. Let me know in the comments below. Do you agree with me? Do you not agree with me? The employers that were shaking their monitor, maybe take a walk around the block and then come and type. Hopefully there's not too much rage, but hopefully you see where I'm coming from, and I hope that helps. So in the next couple videos, we're going to talk a little bit more about the professional work experience, and getting more into how to put that on a resume and translate that into words and things that I, as an employer, as a hiring manager, as a recruiter, am going to recognize. Make sense? I'll see you next time. I'm not your boss. You're not my employees. You don't have to do what I say, but hopefully my advice is helping. See you next time.